Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. The draft is right around the corner. So in today's show, I wanted to answer some questions from subscribers here on the channel. This is a mailbag that we'll get to. We're talking draft. We're talking draft day trades. So make sure you guys are subscribed. We're going to be going live for all 3 days of the NFL draft. Hit that sub button. Sub for Giants Dubs. As Bill Berg comes in with a $5 super chat. Bill Berg, appreciate you. We already have one Bill. You're BB, B squared. Bill Berg, what's up, man? Said, saw this possible trade. Cornerback Aaron Robinson and our third-round pick this year for DeAndre Hopkins. What do you think, Martian Roley? Let's go Big Blue. I think it's a little much. I think it's a little bit much for DeAndre Hopkins. If there were teams offering third-round picks for DeAndre Hopkins, he wouldn't be a Arizona Cardinal anymore. So giving up a third plus Aaron Robinson for me is a little bit much. Aaron Robinson was a third-round pick 2 drafts ago. I would trade our third-round pick for Hopkins. I know a lot of people won't. We're worried about the money. We're worried about all that, but I would do it. But for Robinson and a third, I probably wouldn't do it. I'll ask you guys in the chat, would you do this trade? Third-round pick and Aaron Robinson for Hopkins. Type D for trade. Type P for pass. Bill, thank you, and I love the question. 4C Wavy. I just graduated from UVA, and Dontayvion Wicks is a super sleeper wide receiver. He had some of the best highlight catches in college football last year. And you're right. He's a damn good player. 6'1", 206 pounds. What's crazy is he didn't really produce this past year for Virginia. When you look at the stats, he had 20 yards per catch in his sophomore campaign. But what's wild is he only ran a 4.6 40. So you're like, how is he such a big play player, but it didn't translate to the 40 speed, which doesn't always, mean that. But in 2021, he had 57 grabs for 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns, 21 yards per catch. I wouldn't mind taking him, though, in round 5 or round 6. Before that, I think it would be a little bit of a reach for me. He's obviously got skills. 6'1", 210 pounds. I wouldn't be mad if Wicks was a New York Giant in round 5 or round 6. 4C, salute, Brody. Thanks for the love. Neezy, what up, Brody? Saquon Barkley trade draft night seeming more and more likely as the draft gets closer and closer. How are we feeling on that? When you go back and you listen to Joe Shane's press conference last week when speaking to the media, he didn't seem too happy with Saquon Barkley. He was stern in what he said. I'm not going to be shocked if they trade him. I hope they don't. But if someone offers you a first, you got to do it. Someone offers you a second, you probably got to do it. Man, I want Giants Saquon to come to a long-term deal. But paying a running back a second contract is always scary. It's always scary. I don't want to trade Saquon. I don't. But if we can't come to an agreement long-term, and you can get a first or a second, which honestly I don't think you can, you got to do it. You got to do it. I hope we don't get traded. I don't think he will. I think Saquon Barkley's a Giant this year. I really, really do. I want to ask you guys this question, though, since we're talking about next year and Saquon Barkley. 8.5 wins for the Giants. This is the CBS win total for the Giants. They put it out for every single team. They had the Giants at 8.5 wins for this year. Over, under. Sound off for me down in the comment section. William Lano. Are there any $20 super chat? Thank you, sir. Are there any rumors or talks about specific players the Giants really like in this draft? Someone we possibly be targeting round 1. I think they're looking at receivers. We've heard the Jaxon Smith and Njigba rumors. We've heard the Jordan Addison rumors. We've heard the Zay Flowers rumors. I don't think they're in on Quentin Johnston, but I'm not going to be shocked if they take him. I think they really want to go with a receiver in round 1. One of those 3 guys. I believe if Addison or Flowers is on the clock at 25, that's the pick. That's the pick I think that they're going to make. So we'll see. I think receiver is what they want to go. I think ideally the Giants would want to go receiver, corner, and center with the first 3 picks. We'll find out. We're a couple days away from the draft, and I can't wait for it to be here, so we have to stop guessing about what they're going to do. We'll answer more questions in a second from all the real ones. But first, I want to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor of today's show, and that is Fume. Go to tryfume.com/chatsports and use the code chatsports for 10% off the Journey Pack today. Are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey might be great for sandwiches, but there's a better way to break free from those pesky habits, and it doesn't involve weird mind voodoo or other bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume, an innovative award-nominated device that helps you kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Scan the QR code on screen to learn more about Fume, which is all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals and packed with delicious all-natural flavors. The adjustable airflow dial and movable parts and magnets make it perfect for fidgeting, which can help alleviate stress and anxiety while you break your habit. Start your journey towards a healthier lifestyle with the Journey Pack from Fume. Visit tryfume.com/chatsports and use code chatsports for 10% off when you purchase the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports, and don't forget to use the code chatsports for 10% off your order. Link is down in the comments and description, or scan the QR code on screen to unlock this offer. Gilly, what up, Gilly? Thanks for the super chat. Ryan Dunleavy, yes, mentioned a trade. Who do you think it could be? So he did a trade. He put out a tweet last week and said he's been hearing the Giants could trade one of their late day 3 picks or early day 2 picks for a player, and at the time he mentioned a corner or defensive tackle, and I don't think they're going to trade for a defensive tackle, that is, anymore, since they already went out and signed A'Shawn Robinson. I don't think the Giants are going to make another trade. Could be wrong. You come back to this video in a week and a half after they make a trade, and I could look stupid, but I don't think they're going to trade for another player. At the time, I did think they could make a trade, but honestly, not anymore. Not anymore. Maybe they trade for a veteran corner. Wouldn't shock me, but I don't think they make a trade anymore. Corinne with a $20 super chat. Will the Giants extend Adoree Jaxon? Extend before the season? Probably not. Maybe they do to try to lower that cap hit, but I think they do want to re-sign him. The Giants need to continue to keep good football players on this roster, and that is what Adoree Jaxon is. He's the best corner on this team, and when he was on the field and when he was off the field, there was a huge difference between the Giants' defense and the way that they played football. I think Adoree Jaxon is a top 15, top 20 corner in the National Football League, and he fits perfectly with what Wink Martindale wants to do. An underrated part of Adoree Jackson's game is how good of a tackler he is. Yeah, I want him around. I want Adoree Jaxon around. We got a decision to make, though, Corinne. He'll be a free agent after this year, so it's going to be interesting, no doubt about it. Before we get to more questions, I got to let you guys know, not only will we be live on our Giants Now channel, but we're going to be live on the mothership, Chat Sports, our channel with almost 400,000 subscribers. We're going to be live all day, every day for the first 3 days of the NFL draft. Not the first 3 days, the only 3 days. There's only 3 days in the draft. We'll be live for all of it, every single pick. We'll have the picks before NFL Network and ESPN and what other channel is going to broadcast the draft. We're going to break down every pick. We're not going to do those weird stories about these kids. We're going to tell you about football players, and we're going to tell you about how they're going to affect teams and do all that. Watch the draft over on Chat Sports, youtube.com/chatsportstv. TT, what up, Tyler? If both were available, who would you rather have, Jaxon Smith-Njigba or Joey Porter Jr.? I'd be happy with either of those guys, no doubt about it. Joey Porter Jr. is my third corner in this draft. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is my first wide receiver. So I would want Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I think he's a can't-miss prospect. He's Cooper Kupp light to me. That's my NFL comp for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Cooper Kupp, if we can get a guy like that on this team, he'd be pretty freaking good. But I would love to get Joey Porter Jr. as well, no doubt about it. Anthony Raza, Marvin Mims, Sooners wide receiver, would move up to get him, Marsh. I think he could be on the board at pick 57 in round 2. Let's say you go corner, Deonte Banks out of Maryland in round 1. Marvin Mims, I think, could be on the board at 57. But then you got to decide, do you want to go receiver or center in round 2? I love Marvin Mims. Extremely fast, over 200, over 20 yards per catch this past year. I love him. A little bit of the drops, but I think he's going to be a good football player. Gilly says, would you trade up in round 2 for John Michael Schmitz. How far and what's the cost? How far and what's the cost? That's what you got to answer. I like all 3 centers. I like Weipler, I like John Michael Schmitz, and I like Tippmann. I hope just one of them's there at 57 so we don't have to trade up. But maybe they do. Maybe they do. They got a whole bunch of picks at their disposal. Maybe they do. I wouldn't be mad, but I probably wouldn't if I was the GM, just because I think you could get one of those top 3 centers at pick 57. Just my take. Mike, do you think the Giants would be able to get rid of Saquon? Get rid is a strong word. I don't think Bijan's there at 25. I think Bijan's an Eagle at 10. And that's going to suck. When do the Falcons pick? Let's hope the Falcons pick him at 8. That way he's not an Eagle. I have one request in this draft. No Bijan to Philly. No Bijan to the Cowboys. That's all I want. That's all I want. Nah. Look, he's not going to be there at 25. Look, Giants could trade Saquon. I don't think they will, but I'm not going to be shocked if they do. There will be initial shock, but when you think about it, they can't get a long-term deal done. He wants a long-term contract. Giants offered him a couple, and he said no, and now the running back market has depleted. So it's going to be interesting, Mike. It's going to be interesting. Closing out the show with this. Let's close out the show with this. Grade the Giants offseason so far. Before we get to the NFL draft, I want to hear from you. What's your grade for the offseason so far? A, B, C, D, or F? I'd give him a B+ so far. I think the Giants have had a great offseason. Bobby Okereke, huge signing. Thought I'd get that one right on this one, but grade it for me down in the comment section. And remember, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're not only getting closer and closer to 30,000 subs, we're going to be live for the NFL draft. It's going to be a party. And I want you, talking to you, and you to be there. So subscribe, turn your notifications on. Let's go, Big Blue.